Hello, I'm Craig Esser. I'm with Emiliano Bugatti. He teaches at the Istanbul University in architectural department, I believe, and he graduated in Italy. And the story effectively starts with your professor in Italy.
Exactly.
So perhaps we can start with your professor and then your journey here, shall we say?
Exactly, everything started there. My professor, Maurice Cherasi. So somehow we are within this environment. So a person who was born in Istanbul from a Sepharad Jewish family, who moved to Italy in the 1950s because of sad events that we know.
Sure.
And Maurice became in Italy from the 70s. He started to study the Ottoman cities in the Eastern Mediterranean and architecture. He became one of the most important scholars. So he was a visiting professor at MIT. He won also Aga Khan fellowship, etc. So it was very important. He's a very important scholar.
Sure.
Now
Okay.
he retired, but
Right.
it's because of him. If 15 years ago I started to study the city and the Ottoman culture from the architectural point of view, always. And I started to research on some topics like the Levantine street, one of the main streets or street networks in the historical peninsula. And then we work on the multicultural city, La città delle multiculture, we published in Italy in 2005. A very interesting book in which Cherasi condensed a lot of topics that are there for a lot of possible PhD dissertations. Unfortunately, it was written in Italian, so just a few of people could read.
Well, maybe in the future translate to English.
Yeah, I guess, because it's very dense. It's not only about the late Ottoman period, but going back until the Hellenistic period. So also I wrote, I tried to follow my mentor, and I wrote also some parts according to the content organized by Maurice Cherasi. Then when Maurice Cherasi retired, I wanted to go on, and I wanted to focus more on the late Ottoman period, because at that time, we are talking about 10 years ago, I read, of course, things, and I started to write about the metamorphosis, the urban metamorphosis, but I wanted to know more about architecture, about societies, and with the PhD, I had the opportunity to start a new research about Izmir and Salonika at the end of the Ottoman Empire and after reconstructions, because there were two big fires. This was the starting point for a research about something that one of my advisors, Paolo Girardelli, we call Levantine architecture, Levantine urbanism.
So I suppose before that, the term was not used that much. So you could say the term's now becoming more current, and it's helping maybe the analysis of it, that there's this fusion of different European and Eastern elements that you can see in architecture.
Girardelli wrote a very interesting article for the Orient Institute 10 years ago, in which synthesized brilliantly this idea of the interconnections between, several aspects of society, architects, clients, etc. So it's not simple, European versus Ottoman. It's a very complex overlapping of several actors. The
Right.
story is created by several actors. But the result, the very interesting thing is that the result is a synthesis. So there is
Often a beautiful synthesis as well.
beautiful synthesis. The multiculturalism, this was one that multiculturalism sometimes produces synthesis, not conflict, not contrast. In this case, this is one of that cases. When clients, families from very large spectrum, non-Muslim, met Muslim master builders, Levantine architects produced this building.
Tell me about your current research.
Now, I mean, I have an idea to develop a proposal for a research going on into this topic about the Levantine urbanism and architecture.
Going deeper into the subject.
Yeah.
Right now with families and...
my idea is to work on cities,
okay.
mainly coastal cities, cosmopolitan cities,
Right.
and find elements that can be that are comparable. So there are cities like Salonika, Beirut, Alexandria, and in these cities there are some architectural elements like commercial buildings, housing, and I would like to create a picture, comparing these elements, and not for a single city, but some cities of the Levant.
Would this study be mostly your own, or would it involve different groups in different cities
Yeah.
coming together? Would you envisage maybe even a conference or a symposium from people coming and sharing these findings and ideas?
Exactly. The point is that I would like to be able to synthesize this, but probably it's necessary to create a group, and I have, of course, in my network people who studied and work on this topic. So I need just to organize the structure of this research. Once I organize this, I can decide if I have a time and a scholarship, I can go on, or maybe I can create like a seminar and involving people that can fit exactly in this mosaic.
Well, I mean, architectural conferences do happen, and possibly this could be a piggybacking on one of those. It could be one of the side activities within that, like a workshop possibly.
Can be even a round table. Can be instead, personally, I don't like big conferences where there are lots of people and lots of sessions in parallel, because there is no space to create a dialogue among scholars. So it can be a small conference, can be a seminar, a couple of days, focusing on these elements and maybe involving 20 people at most. Maybe some younger PhD candidate, some other scholars that they can help us to create to improve the structure. I talked recently with Paolo Girardelli about this idea. We can even create a structure for a book together. So, but the point is that now is the time to work on this, because the idea of Levantine architecture, Levantine urbanism, it's quite new. There are people interested in this topic. It's not only related to history. So, as an architect, with other architects, we can describe spaces and types. With support of historians, the story is much more clear.
Sure. And possibly even with the support of people who restore old buildings.
Can be also.
And study building techniques and analyze old building materials.
Yeah, can be.
Or even possibly regenerating some rundown coastal areas as well, like in Beirut and stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some of the beauty will be preserved, because obviously a lot has been lost.
The point is this, exactly this, because we need to create a kind of cultural consciousness about these buildings. And as we did in Italy in the 70s and the 80s, historians, scholars, they were in the first line trying to explain, trying to say, look, this street, it's a value for our history, it's a value for our city. The point is that it's a big point, that here, unfortunately, most of the people who built this environment now is gone.
Sure.
So we have
a political problem, you could say.
We have to create a kind of new perception of these buildings, because of course, if you visit some Levantine families, they recognize the value of these buildings. They recognize the beauty. They have lots of memories, memories of the childhood. But I mean, we need to create. Look, this is a value for also for other sectors of society. For this point of view, I think we need a bit to go out from the boundaries of our scientific field. So we need sometimes, personally, I think it's useful to write something that can be published easily in Italian, in Turkish, that can be understandable. So we have to simplify a bit our language.
Perhaps in Istanbul you're in the best position to do that, because this truly has that massive heritage, and a lot of it is in danger as well. These are expensive buildings to maintain.
It's every day you can see that there are some terrible restorations, because now we are in the fever of tourism. So everyone wants to prepare a building for tourists, like about hotel, etc.
But sometimes they ruin it.
And they destroy.
Sure.
They put isolation on the facade, they reduce the size. I mean, I live close to here in Merayan, that is a late Ottoman street. I live in a late Ottoman house, and I mean, like, believe me, every day, sometimes I hope that the buildings are like this, like ruins, because at least we can see traces.
Sometimes a bad restoration is worse than a ruin. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll form together a pressure group, even if it's small, and then we take knowledge of power, inspires power.
Exactly. I mean, what I think it's academic scholars sometimes are very jealous about their researches. They try to protect their field, but personally now I think it's no time to this egocentric small conflicts. We need to share. That's why also I share most of my articles on the internet, because I mean we need to share and we need to create we studied years these things, so we have to share with people as much as we can. Otherwise, I mean, we can be happy in a very small community, but
we need to put a meaning into it all.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.